Do Toronto condos make sense anymore? Are Toronto condos cooked, for a lack of a better word? Well, that's actually some feedback I got on one of my most recent videos on TikTok, where I talked about how a unit I sold for a client, which I've also discussed on this channel, last year for $745,000. Well, an exact replica of that unit sold this month for $130,000 or so less. Speed at which Toronto condo values are dropping is pretty drastic. I mean, take a look at this. I sold this unit. I was representing the seller just last year. It's 16 Bonnycastle, unit 1702. Beautiful unit, corner unit. As you guys can see, this is the general layout of the unit from these pictures. These are the corner views. You see the water, you see the city. It's pretty panoramic and pretty great unit. We sold this unit last year, once again, for $750,000. Now, at the time of recording of this video, June 2025, a exact replica unit sold for far less at $670,000. This is an exact replica unit. When the last two digits of the units are the same in the same building, in this case 16 Bonnycastle, everything about the units are the same. The size, the ceiling height, the floor plan, the exposures. The only differences are interior conditions and whether if they have parking or locker, and obviously the floor height. So a unit 3 floors lower with the same exact views and the same exact size sold for almost $80,000 less than the unit I sold for myself last year. And in reply to those videos about how what I sold last year is selling for $130,000 less this year, Toronto condo market is cooked. We as agents have to be honest with our clients and viewers. So, are Toronto condos cooked? What does that even mean? Well, we're going to cover that and much more in today's video, because I think my response will surprise you a bit. First, let's assess the numbers if we can. The average price for a Toronto condo in the peak of the market in March of 2022 was a staggering $808,000. That was a $831,000 sold price point on an average basis in Toronto, and in the 905, York region, Peel region, Durham region was $760,000. All in all, once again, coming to $808,000 during the peak of the market, March 2022, and for Toronto specifically, $831,000. That was the case at the peak of the market, as I said, March 2022. How far have condo prices really fallen on an average basis? Well, let's take a look at the most recent month we have in full, which is June 2025. At the time of recording of this video, we're looking at July 4th, 2025. June is the full month we have, the most recent full month we have available to us in terms of data. And we simply see in June of 2025, that average for Toronto has fallen to $731,000 for condo prices across the city of Toronto, and $630,000 in the 905, coming to about $696,000 overall. So a fall from $831,000 to $731,000 is a staggering drop in average prices through the course of 3 years now. And as prices have plummeted, interest rates for a lot of people who invested in condos have increased. Obviously, interest rates have already peaked at the time of recording of this video. Thus far in the last few meetings, there has been pauses, no more cuts. The cuts have kind of stopped as well. Who knows, there might be a cut or two remaining in 2025. But even at these current rates, higher than what we were experiencing in 2022, and safe to say 2024, 2023, higher than what we were experiencing in 2022. This increase in rates led to an increase in carrying cost for a lot of people, while prices, the property values, the assets they purchased in terms of value dropped, and in some cases, no exaggeration, plummeted. So you might ask, well, this makes the answer quite simple. Condos are cooked, but we have to be nuanced. When you ask the question, are condos cooked? Are condos doomed? Who's asking? Because when we take a look at the numbers, there's no doubt in my mind for Toronto real estate investors, condos make very little sense. Condos truly are cooked, to use that verbiage, for Toronto real estate investors. With 20% or down even 30%, when you count for the carrying cost in terms of mortgage, interest, maintenance, taxes, utilities, if it's not included in the maintenance fee, home insurance, most investors are cash flow negative, because in most cases the rents are not enough to cover the expenses. Add on top of that the fact that the pre-construction investors are doomed, to be polite. You have a whole mishmash of disaster for a lot of condo investors. People who bought investment condos for investment purposes to rent it out are down right now in terms of monthly cash flow and appreciation if you bought it in 2023 and 2022. And as I've covered on this channel, a lot of cases, prices are lower than even 2018, 2017, not all over. And of course, it's a building by building. Sometimes some buildings have retained value immensely more than others, but you're both down on cash flow and appreciation. So it's red all over. So clearly for the investor, it is a doomed investment vehicle. And that's exactly the point. Toronto condos are not a get-rich scheme. They are cooked if you're looking at a condo for a primary investment vehicle to build some sort of generation wealth or maximize returns. Condos are not the answer for that. And I've been on record on this channel and speaking individually with clients that condos are not a good investment. But, and this is a major but, condos are great housing options for end users. So if the end user is asking the question, are condos cooked? Not even close. Condos for end users who are not, once again, using this purchase to build some sort of generational wealth, or using this purchase as putting all their funds into this asset for returns and trying to maximize returns. For end users who are actually living in the unit, like the building, like the area, need something close to work, or they've relocated, or they're downsizing, or they want to live closer to their parents, whatever the situation and scenario is, condos more than ever are an affordable housing choice for end users alike. It is the best time to be an end user buyer for a condo, because most end users prioritize their qualitative living experience day to day inside of a building in terms of its proximity, once again, to work, proximity to parents, the area they have a lot of friends in, or the activities they like to partake in, the security and protection of ownership over maximizing returns. And for my end user buyers right now, I'm telling them, if you're purchasing a condo today, you're getting in at great low prices with little competition, a lot of leverage, and I'll exactly touch on that in terms of strategies in my next video, so stay tuned for that. But that's exactly the point. If the investor class, the investor client is asking, are condos doomed and cooked? Exactly, yes. Your money is better spent elsewhere, in stocks, in equities, in bonds. Hey, it could be crypto even. You're definitely going to get more returns. Even in real estate, you're going to probably get more returns with townhomes and freehold. However, for end users, condos are not even close to cooked. Matter of fact, right now is a great time to buy if you're looking to establish roots in a community. Cheaper prices than ever, as we discussed. You're actually going to be living, enjoying the property, the area, the neighborhood, the building. So if the total monthly is affordable for you, given your income, you're not in the red, quote unquote, because you're not comparing it to some sort of rental income. What you're getting in return is housing. And once again, I cannot emphasize that I'm seeing this on the ground every single day, working on the behalf of buyers, negotiating on the behalf of buyers. We have way more leverage than ever, even last year, when last year we had a ton of leverage as it was. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. We'll be happy to go back and forth with you. And yeah, as always, thank you very much for watching. Stay safe, stay tuned. Thank you.